All right, so today we're going to be diving into Gazelle,
Sure.
turning that tech clutter into cash,
Yeah.
and doing it in a way that really appeals to all of us who love efficiency.
Huh.
And Gazelle is a marketplace for used electronics,
Yeah.
phones, tablets, laptops.
Right.
But what has got us really digging deep today is the idea of Gazelle hustling.
Uh-huh.
Not just selling your old devices, but, maybe building a side hustle around this whole thing.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that the Gazelle system really kind of plays into that, that hustler mentality, especially if you're someone who's really detail-oriented.
Okay.
Because they have a very specific condition-based valuation process. So it's not just about like, oh, I have this model of phone. It's really about the tiny details, like a scratch on the screen versus, a scuff on the casing can make a difference in the offer that you get.
Wow.
So really knowing how they assess value is almost like having a cheat code to maximizing your profits.
Yeah, it's like the difference games, but with cash on the line.
Yeah.
I remember I was surprised by an offer for a phone I thought was ancient history, and it made me realize that there's value hidden in places you might not expect.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And it's not just about uncovering that hidden value in your old gadgets, but also understanding how to prep devices for top dollar. It's a little bit like staging a house before you sell it, but for electronics.
So you're saying my phone needs a little digital home staging.
Yeah.
I am intrigued.
Right.
What are we talking here? Like a deep clean, maybe a fresh coat of paint, or, a new case?
Yeah, think of it as like a spa day for your tech.
Okay.
So a thorough cleaning, making sure all the buttons are functional, and absolutely crucial, a complete data wipe.
Oh, yeah.
Send your phone's personal history into witness protection.
I like that.
And sometimes it might even be worth investing in a minor repair, like a cracked screen replacement that could significantly boost the value.
Okay, so we're talking cleaning data, wiping, maybe some strategic repairs. But what about those accessories that tend to clutter up the drawers?
Yeah.
Are we chucking those, or could they actually add value?
That's a great question. And that's where understanding Gazelle's, specifics can really pay off, because sometimes including the original charger or even the box the device came in can actually sweeten the deal.
Wow.
They even have guidelines on their site about what accessories to include.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, super helpful.
All right, so we're getting a sense of how Gazelle works. But let's be real, comparison shopping is kind of in our DNA these days.
Right.
How does Gazelle stack up against other options like Eco ATM declutter, or even going old school with eBay?
You're absolutely right. You always want to compare.
Yeah.
Because each platform has its pros and cons.
Right.
So Gazelle is known for its streamlined process and those quick payouts. Eco ATM offers that instant cash, but often at a lower value.
Okay.
Declutter is similar to Gazelle, but might specialize in different categories.
Okay.
And then there's eBay.
Right.
You have more control, potentially higher profits,
Yeah.
but also more time and effort involved.
So it's all about finding that platform that aligns with your goals and comfort level.
Exactly. And that's actually a perfect segue into the next level of this Gazelle game,
Okay.
which is turning it into a side hustle.
Ooh.
So it's not just about selling your own devices anymore. It's about sourcing and potentially refurbishing devices specifically to resell on Gazelle.
Now that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that. How do you actually go from clearing out your own, tech drawer to building this whole Gazelle flipping operation?
Right.
All right, so we're talking about Gazelle flipping.
Yeah.
I'm picturing someone scouring flea markets, haggling for dusty laptops.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what we're talking about?
That's definitely one approach, but there's a whole spectrum of sourcing strategies. Online marketplaces like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, those are like treasure troves for undervalued tech. You can also check local pawn shops or even thrift stores. Sometimes you find some real gems there. The key is knowing what to look for and how to spot a deal.
Okay, so let's say I snag a device that looks promising. What happens next? What kind of refurbishing skills do I need to master here?
That's where I think your love for efficiency comes in.
Okay.
Let's start with the basics. A thorough cleaning, a software update, maybe replacing a worn-out battery. These are things you can learn to do yourself often with just a few tools and, some online tutorials.
No, we're not necessarily talking about soldering microchips or anything too technical?
Not unless you want to.
Okay.
You can definitely level up your skills and tackle more complex repairs over time, but starting simple is key. And there are even online communities where experienced flippers share tips and tricks. So it's almost like a digital mentorship network.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm cleaning, updating, maybe swapping out a battery, all the while keeping Gazelle's valuation system in mind.
Right.
What's the next step in this flipping process?
So once you've prepped that device and it's looking its best, you'll submit it to Gazelle just like you would with your own device. You'll get an offer based on its condition, and if you're happy with it, you ship it off and get paid.
All right, it's all starting to click now, but before I get too excited, let's talk about potential pitfalls. I imagine there's some shady characters out there trying to, pull a fast one on Gazelle.
Unfortunately, yeah, there are always people who try to misrepresent the condition of their devices, hoping to get a higher payout.
Right.
But Gazelle's inspection process is pretty thorough. They have technicians who carefully examine each device, so if they find discrepancies, they'll adjust the offer or even reject the device altogether.
So honesty's the best policy here. No trying to sneak a cracked screen past them.
Absolutely. Not only is it ethical, but it protects you in the long run. Building a reputation for honesty and transparency. That's crucial if you want to scale this into a sustainable hustle.
Makes sense. What about the shipping process? Any tips for ensuring that these, precious devices arrive safely?
Yeah, secure packaging is essential. Think bubble wrap, sturdy boxes, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
And always use tracked shipping this way. You have proof of delivery, and you can avoid disputes if something goes wrong in transit.
Okay, so let's say I'm starting to get the hang of this, and I want to take it to the next level. More devices, more profits. How do you actually scale up a Gazelle flipping operation?
Yeah, so that's where systems and strategy come into play. You'll want to develop a repeatable process for sourcing, prepping, and listing devices. Think about batch processing, cleaning, and updating multiple devices at once to save time.
Batch processing. That's a great tip for someone like me who loves efficiency. It's like having an assembly line for tech gadgets.
Exactly. And as you scale up, you might even consider investing in tools that can help you diagnose and repair those common issues more efficiently. There are specialized kits out there for battery replacements, screen repairs, even software troubleshooting.
And I imagine networking would be crucial at this stage, right? Connecting with other flippers, maybe even local repair shops for parts or, bulk discounts.
Absolutely. Building relationships in that used electronic space can open up all sorts of opportunities.
Right.
You might find more reliable sources for devices, get insider tips on market trends, or even collaborate on larger projects.
So it's not just about individual transactions. It's about building like a whole ecosystem around your Gazelle hustle.
Precisely. And I think the final piece of this puzzle, and this ties back to your love for data, is tracking everything.
Okay.
You want to keep meticulous records of your costs, your sales, your profit margins, even the types of devices that perform well.
Right.
This data will be invaluable as you refine your strategies and identify new opportunities.
It's like having a financial dashboard for your flipping operation.
Exactly.
You can see what's working, what's not, and make adjustments as you go.
Data is your compass in this market. It helps you navigate that ever-changing landscape of used electronics and make informed decisions.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
Yeah.
We've gone from decluttering our drawers to, building a potential side hustle empire.
I know, right?
What are some key takeaways for our listeners who are ready to take action?
I first start by taking inventory of your own unused devices. You might be sitting on some hidden cash.
Right.
Then familiarize yourself with Gazelle's platform and their valuation system we talked about.
Yeah.
Compare those offers to other marketplaces. Maybe start exploring some of those sourcing strategies we discussed.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Try flipping one or two devices. Get a feel for the process before diving in headfirst.
That's great advice, and that actually leads me to a final thought.
Okay.
Could this Gazelle hustle be more than just a side income? Could it be a stepping stone to building a larger business in the, booming used electronics market?
That's a question worth pondering. It's like we've opened up a whole new world of possibilities, and who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the next big success story in the world of refurbished tech. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring and keep hustling.